Carolinians since 1992. Live from Charlotte, this is WBTV News, on your side.
And now at 11 o'clock, 3 lives changed forever in Charlotte tonight because of gun violence. 1 teen killed and 2 others in jail facing.
And a man is behind bars accused of plotting to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who warned law enforcement about his plan.
From Charlotte CW, this is WCCB News at 10.
Tonight, we have uncovered disturbing new details about alleged child abuse in Stanley County.
From Charlotte CW, this is WCCB News Edge with Morgan Fogarty.
Now on the edge, trouble for Top Gun. Why the family.
And give Tina a loving home. She's a big cuddle bug. We are spending a little time with her today in the Ugger and Ugger doghouse.
WCCB News Rising at 7 starts now on Charlotte CW.
Good morning. I am not Derek. That's because Derek has the morning off. I'm Kim Kuhn along with Lauren McDonald. We also have Nicole Mann, our chief meteorologist. Also, we'll be checking in with
Wyoming News Now starts now.
Firefighters battle flames to rescue an occupant during a house fire on Monday. It happened around 11:45 in the 3800 block of South Greeley Highway in Cheyenne.
Casper News Now at 5 starts now.
Local police stop a prison escapee in his tracks, but the manhunt isn't over. Good evening. I'm Aaron Brown.
And I'm Kristen Casper. Today, while conducting a traffic stop, officers from the Mills Police Department caught an.
You're watching KEYC News Now.
Coming up, talks continuing on Capitol Hill on gun control reform, but issues do persist. And the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources asking the public to stay alert of turtles on the move. And finally, Iowa's position as a purple battleground state is showing no sign of changing anytime soon this election year. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm Lisa County alongside Kelsey Barchinger and Caitlin Lohr. And last night was an evening where everyone just came out of their houses, walking around the neighborhood. Kids, it just turned out to be beautiful.
Yeah, you know, we
And now, the most watched and trusted news in the Panhandle, News Channel 10.
Good to see you on a Wednesday. There you are. Thanks so much for joining us. And again, good to see you on a Wednesday. Let's check in and get right to it. Lots to talk about in our weather. Our first alert, Chief Meteorologist Doppler Dave Oliver. Hi, Dave.
Well, hey, Allie, we sure lived up to our first alert expectations last night and this morning.
This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 4.
Lubbock police continue to investigate a police chase this morning that ended in a crash involving a motorcycle along the Marcia Sharp Freeway. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Christy Harton. The LPD Major Crash Unit says it started as a pursuit around all our time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here in about 30 minutes for KCBD News Channel 11 at 5.
Coming up on KJCT News 8 at 5:30, a Grand Junction author is ticked off at Amazon, what the company did and how it squashed a fundraiser's goals. Plus, a live look over Grand Junction. Our meteorologists are tracking temperatures headed higher and higher by week's end. What you need to know ahead. The news starts now.
You're watching the Western Slope's only 5:30 news. This is KJCT News 8, where the news comes first.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for tuning in to KJCT News 8 at 5:30. I'm Natasha Lynn. We're so glad you're joining us tonight. Well, when we heard about our top story, coming up on Midday Live, the latest on the war in Ukraine. Russia keeps putting pressure on Ukrainian troops in eastern Ukraine. And the latest on rising gas prices, how the crisis may be getting worse before it gets better.
Plenty of sunshine today, then temperatures get quite a bit warmer into the weekend. I'll have more coming up.
Live from Grand Junction, this is Midday Live.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Midday Live. I'm Natasha Lynn. We're going to start this afternoon with a look outside with meteorologist Zach Webster. So Zach, as
coming up, Representative Lauren Boebert under the microscope of investigators again, why the Colorado Attorney General is taking a close look at her mileage reimbursements.
Plus, are you an unaffiliated voter in Mesa County? Are you confused on how to vote in the upcoming primary? Gabriel Gonzalez will clear it all up.
I'm Adam Woodbury, out here on the Monument Canyon Trail. Now that we're in the summer months, a lot more hikers are making their way through here, and unfortunately, so are the crooks. Coming up tonight, we'll talk about some of the things that you can do to help keep your car safe.
Live from Grand Junction, this is KKCO 11 News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for making KKCO 11 News at 6 the most watched news on the Western Slope. I'm Jean Reynolds.
And I'm Bernie Lang. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office busted 2 men accused of breaking into cars at trailheads and other places in Mesa County.
And they are urging the community to be vigilant of what is in their cars.
Now, WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington. A holiday honoring the day slaves were freed in America is still not officially recognized by the state of Kentucky. Find out why. Also, a couple is facing charges after deputies say they abandoned their dogs in Mercer County. And how you can weigh in on a project to reimagine Lexington's new Circle Road. WKYT News at 6:30 starts right now.
With First Alert Weather, this is WKYT News.
Good evening, I'm Bill Bryant, and we thank you for staying local with us on the CW Lexington. We have a lot of news for you this evening. It's also a First Alert Weather Day with the potential for some severe storms. Some of those lurking out there now. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey for your forecast.
Yeah, the greatest threat is continuing to be across the northern part of the state, but we're watching a very intense storm that is.
In the wake of recent mass shootings, many have shared their ideas on how to prevent them. We're covering that conversation from a Kentucky angle tonight. And later, potential changes to a busy Lexington road. One group wants you to imagine New Circle.
This is WKYT News.
Good evening, I'm Bill Bryant. Amber has the night off. We're sure glad you're here on WKYT.
Coming up on First News at 5, a man is arrested in connection with threatening emails to a Minnesota hospital or a Minot hospital. North Dakota faces a critical teacher shortage heading into the fall. So what happens next? Plus, we'll look at the benefits of hands-on learning for students preparing for new careers.
You're watching First News at 5. Your news and weather headlines start right now.
Minot police say they've arrested a man in connection with a series of online threats to Trinity Hospital. Joe Skrzyszewski has been following this story today. He joins us live from just outside the hospital. Joe, what have you learned?
Yeah, good afternoon, Monica. The investigation into these threats actually began last week when...
From Hawaii News Now, this is breaking news.
And that breaking news is on the Big Island. 6 people aboard a tour helicopter that crashed in a lava field have been rushed to the hospital tonight. These are new images just into our newsroom of the crash. We're told the chopper, which belongs to Paradise Helicopters, crashed in the South Point area just before 5:30.
And for one surfer, a stolen board didn't stop him from hitting the water. I'll have the story coming up.
From Hawaii News Now, this is breaking news.
And that breaking news is on the Big Island tonight, where authorities are responding to reports of a helicopter crash.
The Futurecast coming up in just a little bit.
Caring, committed, proud of East Texas. You're watching East Texas News at midday.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for East Texas News Midday. We begin in Washington, where survivors and families
that matters to you anytime you need it. This is Local News Live.
New tonight, armed and dangerous. An arrest warrant is out for the shooting suspect. The latest on the search, and we know what he may be driving.
This kind of behavior is obviously behavior that we will not tolerate.
Tonight, we're getting new details on why a man with a suitcase full of weapons may have been targeting a Supreme Court justice. Plus, we'll have the latest on congressional plans to keep justices and the people who work for them protected. Police say he praised the Uvalde school gunman. Tonight, we're learning more about this teenager accused of threatening to carry out mass shootings of his own.
After emotional testimony from survivors of the Uvalde shooting, lawmakers have taken a vote on new measures that could restrict access to some firearms. New tonight, details are emerging about a military plane crash in the desert. The latest on the search and the military response to rumors the plane had nuclear material on board.
June the 8th, 2022, be declared John DeFore Jr. Day.
New tonight, a tribute to an East Texas music teacher who helped shape the talents of two country music superstars.
A war of words between employees at several East Texas businesses.
We'll take you to the spelling bee showdown that had to go into overtime.
A slight chance of rain will be in the forecast for a few parts of East Texas. We'll talk about that, but it still looks hot and humid. KLTV 7 News starts right now.
Caring, committed, proud of East Texas. You're watching KLTV 7 News.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. We begin tonight with some breaking news. An arrest warrant out for this man right here in connection to a shooting in Marshall.
Harrison County Crime Stoppers reported
the specifications are for how many folks you can have on that boat.
YCPW says we're seeing an increase in deaths and their message about how you can prevent potential drowning.
Plus, in just days, the Avs are going to be playing for the most coveted prize in hockey.
I hope the Avs take the cup. It belongs here in Colorado.
But how much are fans willing to pay to see them play in person? We'll have local fan reaction tonight.
And it's a beautiful night here in southern Colorado. The air conditioning for most of us, probably not all that active right now. That's going to change in my forecast. Some summertime's going to show up. I'll tell you when. 11 News starts right now.
Now, with 11 minutes of nonstop news and your certified most accurate forecast. This is KKTV 11 News at 10.
It's good to have you with us tonight. I'm Adam Atchison.
And I'm Lindsay Boach. We start tonight with an update to an 11 breaking news alert. We're told the man who drowned at Lake Pueblo State Park yesterday while reportedly trying to help his daughter was 34-year-old Eric May.
This is ABC Columbia News at 5.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for ABC Columbia News at 5. I'm Doug Curran.
And I'm Rochelle Dean. A muggy and sticky hump day this week turned into a few showers sweeping through the Midlands this evening. I guess the question now is what can we expect as we head into the evening and into this night? Let's turn things over to meteorologist James Scott, who's been keeping his eye on the sky with our current conditions. James, how's it looking?
Yeah, hey there, Doug and Rochelle. Still tracking a few isolated to scattered showers.
This is ABC Columbia News at 11.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for ABC Columbia News at 11. I'm Doug Curran.
And I'm Rochelle Dean. Now, to say that it was hot today.
Right now on your News at 4, the Richland County Council has approved nearly $80 million in COVID relief funds. How that money is set to be used just ahead.
And we've got some showers and storms in the region, but the bulk of the activity have moved over to the east. Now we're left with another chance of some rain tomorrow. We'll have the details coming up.
And following the mass shooting at a Texas elementary school that claimed 21 lives, survivors are urging lawmakers to take action. We have the very latest right now on your News at 4.
Live from Columbia, this is WIS News 10 at 4. Live, local, now.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for WIS News at 4. I'm Billie Jean Shaw.
And I'm Greg Adeline. Let's get right to your first alert forecast as we're tracking some storm chances for later on this evening.
We're going to take a look now at your first alert radar, and it will show you exactly that rain moving in.
Live from Columbia, this is WIS News 10 at 11. Live, local, now.
Good evening. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight for your News at 11. I'm Greg Adeline. We are continuing to follow the latest updates in the forecast following some early evening rain showers today.
Live, local, now. This is Heartland News Now at 4.
Looking live in Cape, another rainy day with a little stormy weather.
Heartland News is sponsored by Southeast Health. Live, local, now. This is Heartland News at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Heartland is seeing a lot of wet weather once again today.
Let's check in with Grant right now. He's got the very latest in your first alert at 5.
Yeah, we continue to track some pretty strong thunderstorms. That's some big storms.
And emotional testimony on Capitol Hill.
He shot my friend I was next to me.
Survivors of the Texas school shooting pleading for change.
7 News at 10 starts now.
First up at 10, wet weather is moving in. Round 2 of rain is on the way. And once again, the morning commute is expected to be impacted.
And we're also expected to get some thunderstorms with this system. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Reiner is tracking the timeline for us.
Okay, radar right now is quiet with a partly cloudy.
So targeting a justice.
This kind of behavior is obviously behavior that we will not tolerate.
A man behind bars accused of trying to kill a member of the Supreme Court.
A breath of fresh air for local students. Boston Public Schools dropping its mask mandate with just days left in the school year.
And color for a great cause. The reason Tom Brady is sporting a fiery new look.
7 News at 11 starts now.
First at 11, some wet weather storming in. The radar there.
7 News is brought to you by Volkswagen dealers of South Florida.
Now, on the 19th.
The train of rain continues. A flood watch for South Florida now extended through midnight Friday.
Residents in this South Florida neighborhood were pumped up to finally dry out, but the relief they're seeing now may be short-lived.
The House making a major move on gun reform, but will bumping up the age for certain gun buyers survive the Senate? The night team is live in Washington.
Supreme scare. A man arrested accused of a shocking plot to kill a Supreme Court justice.
Also, an officer lands on the other side of the law, accused of using technology to keep tabs on his ex. A man behind bars after police say he did something sickening at a bus stop. A greedy porch pirate grabbing boxes. And she's not the only one who's snatching other people's stuff.
A car insurance company refused to pay for damages for a customer's car because she wouldn't cooperate with them.
I find it unfair that an insurance company can just deny your claim, when their driver is clearly at fault.
Is that a legal reason to leave your car a wreck? Help Me Howard has the answer.
New at 10, a special response team makes an explosive entrance after tracking down a suspect in a Miami homicide. We have details live. I'm Craig Stevens.
I'm Belkis Narang. It's a busy night in the Newsplex, but we begin with that flood watch now extended for at least 2 more days.
This is a 19 weather alert.
Here's the rainy reason why. Tonight, drivers along I-95 in Oakland Park and beyond dealing with torrential downpours. The soaking storms prompting new flooding fears.
One waterlogged.
This is 7 News at noon.
Off the top this afternoon, a heartbreaking hearing. A 4th grader shot at Robb Elementary and the parents of one of the young victims testifying before Congress. Passionate calls for change after a string of deadly mass shootings take place across our country.
Comes as lawmakers are trying to come up with solutions. 7's Tavares Jones live at the Satellite Center with the story. Tavares.
Live up and down the coast, from the beaches to the valleys, your news channel starts right now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Butita.
And I'm Elise Martinez. Thanks for joining us on Midday. We're following the results of the primary election, and today it appears there's been
Live, up and down the coast, from the beaches to the valleys. Your news channel starts right now.
Good evening. I'm Scott Hennessy. Thank you for joining us on this primary election night in California. We have reporters up and down the coast ready to bring live reports to you on the races that matter the most. We begin with a look at the results in the race for governor. The incumbent Gavin Newsom with
Senators say gun control negotiations are entering a critical phase. I'm Skyler Henry on Capitol Hill with the latest on the talks as survivors and family members of victims of gun violence testify before House lawmakers.
New COVID-19 deaths are expected to increase. We'll tell you why. Plus, it's World Ocean Day.
And storms remain possible. It's been pretty quiet for the bulk of the morning for us, but the chance of thunder will be coming back this afternoon. We'll have the details coming up.
Now, from West Tennessee's News Channel, this is 7 Eyewitness News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Colin Grayson Norris. It was an emotional day of testimony on Capitol Hill this
The first round of severe weather stayed just to our south today, but a cold front coming on by from the north is trying to spark up some things. We'll show you where they're moving coming up.
Will there be more or less for your student next school year?
One city is continuing to pick up the pieces months after a destructive storm.
And it's Game 3 in the NBA Finals tonight. A look at some of the highlights.
Now, from West Tennessee's News Channel, this is 7 Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Clouds and the threat of rain and possible storms were on tap for West Tennessee today.
Weather. Turn to News Press Now on CBS 30 KCJO.
Tonight on News Press Now, Buchanan County has been deliberate in its allocation of ARPA funds. Meanwhile, the city is moving forward with millions of dollars worth of projects. We have an update on the county status. And reality TV star Dog the Bounty Hunter made an appearance at the Western Missouri Correctional Center. We'll have more on the impact that this had on prisoners.
And it was a bumpy go of it early this morning, but we have fair weather now. I'm breaking down our next chance for rain. It's 6 o'clock, and your news starts right now.
Live from downtown St. Joseph, you're watching News Press Now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us here on News Press Now at 6. I'm Morgan Doyle. More than a year after receiving $8.4 million.
Up on News Channel 5's Midday, following the deadly mass shooting that killed 19 students and 2 teachers at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Well, Rapides Parish School District Superintendent Jeff Powell wants the community to know. And to the state's capital, where the 2022 legislative session has come to a close. A breakdown of the budgetary items on the table and what Governor John Bel Edwards has to say following the end of the session.
Tracking an ongoing hot, hazy, and humid forecast. Do we have any relief in sight? I don't know if you're going to like my answer. Midday starts now.
From your local station, this is News Channel 5's Midday.
A mysterious man he is, Tyler Hall. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for News Channel 5's Midday. I'm Charisma Thrash.
Now at 4:30, water woes. A flash flood sends water into yards. How one community is handling it. Plus, finding formula. This morning, a look at the efforts to make sure babies in one town are fed. Also this morning.
We owe you, and we thank you.
Saluting our soldiers. How the White House is working to give back to those who gave all.
The only live local news in Northeast Arkansas starts now. Good Morning Region 8.
Good morning, Region 8. It's 4:32 on this Wednesday, June 8th. I'm Chase Gage. Thank you for starting your day with us. We saw some flash flooding yesterday afternoon. There was some fog on the drive-in this morning, and we might see some more rain today. Let's go ahead and head over to meteorologist Zach Holder for a look at your Wednesday. Good morning, Zach.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we're still tracking the chance of more storms.
The only live local news in Northeast Arkansas. Region 8 News at 6 starts now.
Starting tonight with a live look from Independence County. Some seeing rain and clouds, but the sun is trying to peek out in some parts of Region 8. Chief Meteorologist Ryan Vaughn is live in Walnut Ridge with a first look at your forecast. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Diana, you can see.
Local, trusted. This is Brazos Valley This Morning on KBTX News 3.
It is 6 a.m. on this Wednesday morning, and we have new details about the murders of 5 people in Centerville last week.
A Leon County official told a Houston news station.
There's new details about the murders of 5 family members last week near Centerville. The COVID vaccine being manufactured here in the Brazos Valley gets a green light from an FDA advisory panel, but it still has several hurdles to clear. The first case of monkeypox is confirmed in Texas, where the patient was visiting before testing positive. Brazos County leaders met today to discuss the budget for the fiscal year 2023. Donnie Tuggle has an update on their discussion. And the embattled police chief of the Uvalde Schools Police Department is missing from his first meeting as a city councilman.
Triple-digit free streak of days is still alive tonight, but it is not likely long for this world. Our current heat wave has only just begun as we head for hotter days.
Local, trusted. This is News 3 at 10 on KBTX.
Tonight we know more about the murders of a grandfather and his 4 grandsons last week near Centerville.
Responsible gun owners are fed up.
A Hollywood star and the families of the dead make their case to Congress. And it's summer blockbuster season. Can Hollywood's biggest stars save theaters across the country?
Fingers across that Top Gun Maverick has started a trend.
KCTV5 News stands for you.
We could be in for another noisy night of storms. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Stevens.
And I'm Carolyn Long. Let's get right over to our Storm Track 5 Chief Meteorologist, Erin Little. Erin, how are things looking?
Looking angry to the north and west of Kansas City at 10 o'clock tonight. A new severe thunderstorm watch.
This tornado is probably near state line now and working its way to the east.
All units, if you want to move to the closest fire department.
Breaking overnight severe weather hitting the metro. We're tracking storms this morning as neighborhoods wake up to clear out the debris. Your news at 9 starts right now.
KCTV5 News stands for you.
Thank you so much for joining us here for KCTV5 News at 9 a.m. We know a lot of you probably woke up to alerts.
Yeah.
I'm Carolina Cruz.
And I'm Gina Bullard. We want to get right over to Storm Track 5 meteorologist Greg Bennett, who's been tracking those storms. Are they all broken up at this point, Greg?
Yeah, at this point in time, we're just dealing with some little residuals of some weak showers, some weak thunderstorm activity. It's still involved with their...
Not only for those downed trees impacting roads, but also damage to businesses, including a Metro church. Taylor Johnson is live at 95th and Warnell, helping us survey that damage at Colonial Presbyterian Church.
Well, Carolina and Gina, it's just been amazing to see how widespread the damage has been. You saw earlier we were in Lenexa, and now where we are at this church here at 95th and Warnell. I mean, look at what the storm left behind. Power lines down.
And working its way to the east.
All units, if you want to move to the closest fire department.
We are getting a better idea of how much damage there is across the metro after severe weather hit overnight. We have live team coverage. Your news at noon starts now.
KCTV5 News stands for you.
Thanks so much for joining us here this afternoon. I'm Carolina Cruz. We have heard from many of you across the metro about being startled in the middle of the night as several counties went under a tornado warning.
Wyoming News Now starts now.
Good morning and thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Haley Rader. We also have meteorologist Ashley Bryant here with us this morning, who's joining us now with a first look at our forecast. Ashley, happy Wednesday. I hope your day's off to a great start.
Pictures. That's it for us here on News 4 at 4. News 4 at 5 starts right now.
Now at 5, a letter carrier becomes a target. The search now for the man labeled armed and dangerous.
Hospitalized for 150 days.
I almost died a couple of times.
A St. Louis woman on the mend as COVID cases surge in the metro.
Get vaccinated if you can.
The mayor responds.
I think that this is the tip of the iceberg.
The changes she's proposing after the indictments of 3 elected officials.
Is it breakfast or dessert? The new hotspot expanding in South St. Louis.
Live from the KMOV Broadcast Center. This is News 4 at 5, watching out for you.
First tonight at 5, a crime alert. A letter carrier robbed at gunpoint in St. Louis County.
Now investigators need you to help track down the armed and dangerous thief. The story is in Delwood, right along Chambers Road near Hall's Ferry. News 4 is learning there is a big reward for catching this gunman. News
Fix it now, please.
Bullets flying as teens gather downtown.
While some demand curfews, others call for safe spaces
where young people can flourish and thrive.
Tapping into young minds to explore solutions.
What can the city do for us instead of getting everything taken away from us?
An area educator gaining national attention for their revolutionary approach to teaching.
What is considered innovative, I think, should be everyday practice.
Watching out for you. This is News 4 at 10.
A property peppered with broken fixtures, peeling tile, and bugs, leaving some St. Louis residents feeling frustrated and hopeless.
Now, from Central Oregon's news leader, this is News Channel 21 at 7.
Good evening and welcome back. I'm Lee Anderson. We're learning more about the murder and arson investigation at a Northeast Bend apartment. Today, a judge ordered Thomas Craig held without bail. He's accused of stabbing. News Channel 21, Central Oregon's news leader since 1977.
Now, from Central Oregon's news leader, this is News Channel 21 at sunrise.
Good morning, I'm Carly Keenan. It's Wednesday, June 8th. Thanks for starting your morning with us. Ria Pinella and Ariel Brumfield have the day off, so you've got me, but we are joined with Bob Shaw. How are you this morning, Bob?
Doing well, thanks. Tell me you got out and enjoyed some of yesterday.
Live from the Tri-States News and Weather Leader. The only hour of local news at 11 starts right now. This is 14 News.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Tanner Holbrook. It is all quiet right now, but let's get it over to Arden Gregory because it is still an alert day. Arden, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we are still expecting a few more showers and thunderstorms to move through later this afternoon. This is a live look at the Twin Bridges right now.
This is Wave News at 4.
Thank you for joining us for Wave News at 4. I'm Dawn G. Storm chances picking up this evening. The Wave Storm Tracking Team has issued an alert.
Next at 5, as calls for gun control grow louder, Virginia Senators Tim Kaine and Mark Warner weigh in on the debate, and we hear from Representative Bob Good.
Plus, Dr. Larry Sabato hosting a special event tonight before Congress holds hearings on the riot at the Capitol on January 6th.
And as gas prices keep going up, more people looking at pedal power to get around town. We'll check in on the local bike market.
Live from the CBS 19 News Studio, this is CBS 19 News at 5. Charlottesville News First.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dan Schutte.
And I'm Ashley Brooks. We thank you for joining us tonight.
Our top story tonight, Senators Mark Warner and Tim Kaine say they hope a deal on the Senate's bipartisan gun control package.
And as some states enact stricter gun laws, what do people in Kentucky think of tightening laws in this state?
I'm Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck. Organized severe weather just to our north in Indiana and Ohio, but with the warmth and humidity of the afternoon, starting to see some pop-ups containing some heavy rain and gusty winds. We'll track them for you in your Storm Team forecast coming up.
You're watching ABC 36 News at 6.
Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. I'm Caitlin Shive in for Erica Bevins. We begin with weather, heading right over to Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck. T.G., I have to tell you, I'm not